Chapter 18, 10 Treasures Under the Earth. Zhang Yi thought. As expected, he is a guy who graduated from Eton College. He is really smart. If it weren't for the end of the world, this guy would probably be shining in the business or political circles of Britannia. He might even be able to work at 10 Downing Street. The two exchanged information, and Zhang Yi also got the data of the demon Gung. An unexpected but reasonable piece of information. Gung's fighting style is almost the same as Gui. Powerful defense field, strong close combat strength, and long-range attack means with terrifying explosive power. Sure enough, as a combat-type body, it is also mass-produced. But I remember that these guys should have biological reactions. They abandoned the superpowers with huge differences and chose the purest fighting method. According to King Arthur's description, the difference in strength between Gung and Gui should not be large, and even at a comparable level. Zhang Yi kept the part of Gui's information about the core being the spirit of sacrifice. The rest is almost the same as King Arthur. Of course, King Arthur may have made some reservations, which Zhang Yi had no way of knowing. After listening to Zhang Yi's words, King Arthur also held his chin with a serious face. Gung and Gui are both in the lower sequence in the ranking. So far, we have not encountered those upper demons. I don't know if they also have the same fighting method as we encountered. Zhang Yi said lightly, it's better. Otherwise, we will be in big trouble. After chatting, Zhang Yi looked at the intelligence system, which prompted that the conversation between the two had exceeded 20 minutes. Zhang Yi didn't plan to stay outside in the ice and snow. The snow was almost up to his knees. Although he didn't feel cold, he still felt a little chilly psychologically. Okay, there's no problem. See you later. Zhang Yi was about to turn around and leave. At this time, King Arthur called him again. Wait, chaos. Zhang Yi frowned and looked at him. What else? He didn't have a good attitude towards King Arthur. After all, before he could tell whether the other party was an enemy or a friend, there was a duel waiting. King Arthur stared at Zhang Yi. I have another question to ask you. This is about you personally. I wonder if you are willing to answer it. Personally? Zhang Yi smiled a little coldly. Don't worry, I'm not trying to get your information. It's just a simple life question. Zhang Yi didn't expect that the two of them would talk about life in the cold weather outside. But he was very curious about what King Arthur wanted to ask. Tell me, maybe I will answer you. King Arthur looked at him, his eyes never moving away, as if he wanted to see through Zhang Yi's soul. He slowly said, if one day, when you know that everything you have must end in destruction, you can get a short chance to survive by wearing chains, but choosing to resist will be a life-threatening situation. Even if you can prolong your life, it will be difficult to have peace. What will you choose? Zhang Yi did not give an answer immediately after hearing this. He thought for a moment and asked, are there only these two choices? It sounds like neither is a good option. King Arthur shook his head seriously. No, you have to make a choice. Can I choose not to choose? For example, choose the third option. Zhang Yi probably guessed that the meaning of King Arthur's words was related to the end of the world. But he already had his own plan. Space fortresses or underground fortresses to avoid this complex and dangerous world. King Arthur said, but this question is not a simple choice between two. In fact, if you don't choose one, then all choices will be classified into two. Zhang Yi frowned even deeper, but soon he smiled and replied, your question is strange, but I know very well that I don't like to be a dog for others, and I won't let people tie me up with a chain. King Arthur suddenly showed an appreciative smile on his face. He nodded, very good. Zhang Yi didn't know what was good, but he could feel that King Arthur's eyes looking at him became a little different from before. This made Zhang Yi feel a chill. After all, the country of Britannia was very famous in some aspects, and he had no interest in that aspect. He waved his hand goodbye. I hope you can still be alive after this time, but if he died, it would not be a bad thing. At least Zhang Yi would not have to worry about dueling with him. King Arthur watched Zhang Yi leave. He could feel that Zhang Yi's all-encompassing thoughts were always open, and he had never relaxed his defense. No wonder Mr. Montesquieu would consider him. Maybe this guy can really become a companion. But he said with his chin in one hand and a serious look. Let's talk about it after we pass this level first. I can feel that the situation here is much more complicated than Atlantis. Large-scale wars are getting more and more intense. On the land of Fremons, the actions of mechanical civilization have never been as frenzied as they are today. On the entire land of Fremons, mechanical life forms swarmed out of the ground like ants. And the newly appeared bodies are no longer the same as before. The kind of engineers who only focus on digging the earth. Instead, they are combat-type machines that will choose to attack actively once they find humans near the engineering area. The war reports are frequent, and dozens of alarms can be heard throughout Fremons every day. If Fremons is not vast and sparsely populated, and most of the areas have become uninhabited areas, then the top leaders such as Bodegia will definitely be exhausted at this time. However, at this time they did not show much panic because everything is under their control. If other areas fall, they fall as long as the place where they are is safe. As for ordinary people, it doesn't matter if some die. With the science and technology they have mastered now, as long as conditions permit, they can multiply the population in a short period of time. An administrative order can instantly increase the birth rate by hundreds of times. Therefore, they will only turn the triggered war situation into a tool for their own profit. Bodegia began to deploy a large number of alien troops to conquer various areas. According to the previous agreement, when the demon god-level energy reaction occurs, only teams with bishop-level or high-level black chariot-level aliens will be allowed to fight. However, the low-level energy reaction area will be left to the alien teams of the countries with inferior strength to deal with, in order to maximize the benefits. At this time, the alien troops gathered in Fremons have reached more than 30. They came here because they heard that there were benefits here, and they were ready to make a fortune from the mechanical civilization. So they responded to the call and actively rushed to the battlefield to fight with the mechanical army. With the experience provided by the alien troops before, the difficulty of fighting against those mechanical life forms again has indeed decreased. As long as they do not encounter a particularly large-scale mechanical army, the alien troops can indeed cope with it. Of course, this is also related to the deliberate arrangement of Fremons. On this day, the alien teams of two technologically advanced and relatively sparsely populated countries in Northern Europe carried out the task together. They cleared a small mechanical army and successfully killed a super-large mechanical life form and more than 5,000 mass-produced machines. Although the battle was very difficult, nearly half of the people they brought were killed, and even 2 Epsilon-level aliens were injured. But looking at the spoils scattered all over the battlefield, they still felt a little excited. Collect the spoils immediately. The most important thing is their energy core. As for the other parts, they will be handed over to Fremon's engineering troops for processing later. And Epsilon calmly gave orders to his subordinates. But at this moment, one of his aliens ran over and said to him with a serious expression, "Chief, a special energy reaction was found under this land." The Epsilon was named Harland. When he heard this, his eyebrows immediately stood up. He thought that the enemy's reinforcements had arrived. So he immediately called Epsilon Numero from another country to tell him the news and asked him to come to help. If they really faced a super-large mechanical life form, with the power of the 2 at this time, no one could handle it alone. Numero rushed to the vicinity and looked at the sunken ground with Harland cautiously. At this time, this area had been dug more than 3,000 meters deep by the engineers of the mechanical civilization. No one knew what was underground. The 2 made full preparations and came to the underground. Numero's ability is to control the earth. He pressed his hands on the ground, and powerful superpowers surged from him like a storm. In an instant, the ground beneath his feet began to tremble violently.
Boom.
The earth was broken, and the earth and rocks flew up. Harlan's right hand was slightly bent back, and a terrifying ball of energy had condensed in the palm of his hand. As long as a terrible enemy appeared, he would attack in an instant. However, the enemy in his imagination did not appear. The next moment, a yellow light source slowly floated up from the pile of earth and rocks. It was a stone weighing about several thousand pounds, emitting a soft yellow light. The light revealed a magical power that could penetrate into the marrow of the aliens. In just a moment, Harland and Nemero stared at it, unable to move away for a moment. This breath is the sacred source. What they dug out from under the earth was the source of God, which could allow aliens to break through the level of life, and was a treasure in this doomsday. Almost at the same time, Harland and Nemero came back to their senses and tried to snatch it from each other. Harland was a step slower, and the ore containing the source of God was held in the arms of Nemero, who could control the earth. Harland's face was very ugly, and the energy ball in his palm flashed with a terrifying light. He said to Nemero with a smile, "You don't want to keep this thing for yourself, do you?" The alien teams of their two countries were not large, and they chose to cooperate temporarily in order to maximize their interests. Now that he has obtained such a good thing, Nemero certainly doesn't want to share it with others. As long as he successfully brings it back, his country can have one more Epsilon-level alien. Their competitiveness in the Nordic region will also be greatly enhanced. Nemero raised the corners of his mouth, and his smile was a little perverted because of excitement. This sacred source is fused with the ore, but after it is extracted, it must be enough for only one person. So I decided to keep it, but this time, I can give you 30% more of the other spoils. Harland's eyes turned cold, and the energy ball in his hand was instantly released at Nemero. The terrifying energy cannon penetrated the space between the two of them, and this time it used the strongest power. In the face of the huge temptation of interests, this loose alliance is not reliable at all. But facing Harland's attack, Nemero was well prepared. His body suddenly merged into the earth, and soon turned into a dragon underground and disappeared. Ha ha ha. I knew you would do this. But sorry, it's too late. His ability to escape underground is very advantageous when fighting on the ground. At this time, the things are already in hand. Why bother to fight with Harland? So, he went back to the ground directly, took his men, and quickly left the battlefield through the underground escape. Harland was so angry that he roared angrily, but he had no way to deal with the other party. Damn guy. If you are so unethical, I won't let you have an easy time. He gritted his teeth and immediately used the communication channel to tell everyone in the chat group that Nemero had obtained the source of God. Zhang Yi received the group message and glanced at it. The source of God. He was a little moved. Although the source of God is not as useful as the spirit of sacrifice, each source of God means that a new Epsilon-level alien will be born. However, Zhang Yi also has his own principles. He has no grudges against someone who gets the source of God at this special time, so he can't go and snatch it. But his focus is on Harland's news. Because according to Harland, the place where the source of God is obtained is underground dug by the Mechanical Legion. Could it be that what they're looking for is this? The group has exploded. No wonder those guys spared no effort to dig the land of Fremons. It turns out that there is such a treasure hidden underground. So, by killing the mechanical life form, can we not only get advanced technology and new energy crystals, but also get the holy essence? Almost all the alien troops are crazy. It will take time to break through the scientific and technological power, but the holy essence can create an Epsilon-level alien, which is real. At Pudaga, Mr. Pudaga, we Daxis request to carry out the next mission immediately. At Pudaga, Mr. Perkaman, the same goes for us. Me too. Me too. The leaders of the aliens from some small and medium-sized countries requested to fight. Zhang Yi felt something was strange. Mechanical life forms should follow a different route from aliens. Their cores are the purest sacrificial spirits. How could they take such a large-scale action for some source of God? There must be something strange about this. The source of God is very attractive to Zhang Yi. After all, no one would mind having an Epsilon-level alien in their team. But he has always been cautious in doing things. When he noticed that the situation was a little strange, he naturally would not rush to take action. Whether it is Harland or Nemero, they are aliens whose ability index only reaches the White Chariot level. Their actions seem a little too relaxed. You know, Zhang Yi and his team, as well as the Barada alien troops led by Emperor Shirtian, also experienced a battle when they just arrived in Fremons. Although Zhang Yi's situation was not difficult, Barada did suffer heavy losses. The more Zhang Yi thought about it, the more he felt that there was something fishy about this matter. But not everyone is as rich as him, with multiple Epsilon-level combat forces under his command. For most forces in this world, a portion of the source of God is enough for them to obtain at all costs. Zhang Yi told Deng Shintong and others about this matter. He clearly felt that Uncle Yu and Fatty Su's eyes became extremely eager, but Uncle Yu didn't say anything, but Fatty Su jumped up. Master, there is such a good thing? Those small Nordic countries are really lucky to be able to pick up the source of God. Why can't it be our turn? Otherwise, let's try it too? Fatty Su was eager to move. Fatty Su is now a serious captain-level alien. Blizzard's ability is very good both in single-target attack ability and group control means. With Uncle Yu's close combat and firepower output, it can produce great results on the battlefield. No matter how careless he seems on the surface, he actually has a heart to carry. Don't worry, wait and see. I always feel that things are not that simple, Zhang Yi said. Deng Shintong nodded in agreement. Maybe they are just lucky. This kind of good thing cannot be regarded as a common phenomenon. They did not take this matter too seriously. Zhang Yi was staring at the large-scale energy reaction event that could occur at any time in the future, that is, the moment when the demon-level machine appeared. He knew that it was a more precious, sacrificial spirit. But in the next 2 days, strange phenomena appeared, and this time even Zhang Yi almost couldn't sit still. Influenced by Harland and Namuro, more and more alien troops began to go on missions regardless of everything. As they went to the construction area of the mechanical army, although the losses were not light, they were surprised to find that they really found many valuable treasures under the ground they dug. 2 more alien troops dug up the source of God, or some energy bodies that humans do not know, but are sure to have high-intensity energy. Overnight, they forgot about the machine. The fear brought by the mechanical army began to turn into greed. It was as if the people who died on the battlefield before were not their companions and acquaintances. Every morning at 9:30, they set out after dawn and returned at 3 p.m. when it was almost dark. Even when they returned to their residence, they couldn't sleep because today's harvest was great, and they always thought about using all their troops tomorrow, and even summoned a group of aliens from the country to come together to get the treasure. Seeing that they had a lot of harvest, Zhang Yi was a little moved, and the members of the fleeing army around him were also a little impatient to go to the battlefield. However, they had all undergone special training, and without Zhang Yi's order, no one dared to take the initiative to ask for battle. But the more this happened, the more Zhang Yi felt that something was wrong. Fatty Su found Zhang Yi and told him his thoughts. Master, is there such a possibility? The mechanical civilization troops have ruled out most of the wrong answers before, and now they are close to the correct answer, so they will gradually discover a large number of God's source and mineral deposits. Zhang Yi looked at Fatty Su deeply, then raised his hand, and a brain slammed on his broad forehead that could park a car.
Bang. The
sound was crisp and pleasant. Ah. Fatty Su covered his head in pain and squatted on the ground, gasping for air. You underestimate the mechanical civilization, don't you? How can a civilization that can create such a powerful demon god body look down on those worthless things? Zhang Yi is now in trouble. He actually said that the source of God is worthless. Fatty Su covered his head and said with tears in his eyes, but I think they are all fine. Now they are making a lot of money. Zhang Yi hugged his arms and frowned and said, I smell the smell of conspiracy. This is like fishing. They may have prepared a huge trap and wait for the human alien army to fall into the net. At this point, Zhang Yi also asked Yang Xinxin for confirmation. Xinxin, do you think I am right? A smart girl like Yang Xinxin would definitely agree with her opinion. Yang Xinxin did not stop the work in her hands. She was using the supercomputer built for her by Liu Karen to connect to the remains of the demon god Gui and conduct invasion and decryption. Hearing Zhang Yi's question, she said without raising her head, Not necessarily. It's because it looks too much like fishing that it seems strange. Zhang Yi asked puzzledly, wise. Yang Xinxin replied, Our judgment of mechanical civilization is that it has a technological civilization far superior to that of humans. Everyone has seen this. The super powerful legion built entirely by machines, even transforming its own existence into a powerful combat-type demon body. If they really want to destroy the humans and Fremons, I don't think they need to go through so much trouble. She took the time to look at Zhang Yi, her eyes clear and peaceful, like a lake. Besides, Fremons has only a few million people and only 3 large cities. Why does the mechanical civilization have to destroy them? Brother, would you find a few ant nests on the vast grassland and pour boiling water into them? This analysis made Zhang Yi fall into deep thought. But if it's not to set a trap to lure the human alien army to go there and then kill them, what is their purpose? Yang Xinxin stopped what she was doing. She also began to think. After a while, she said, perhaps their purpose is to get humans to join their project. And from the beginning to the end, they never gave us a straight face, and all their attention was focused on finding something underground. At this point, several people looked at the same time not far away. There was a huge black house-like object placed on the ground in the shadow space.